Hey everyone, welcome to the Waterlad Podcast. I'm James Marshall and thanks for tuning into another episode. And if it is your first time, well then welcome to the show. Before I start, I got to have a quick mention to our three main sponsors for helping bring this episode to you. And if you're in need of a late Christmas present, well then here are three great ideas. Firstly, Pure Sport CBD is a great gift for anyone who suffers from muscle or joint pain, poor sleep or anxiety. Send them some of this stuff and it will fix them up a treat. Fortune Favours is a great gift idea for anyone who loves a great diesel, and Manscaped is a great gift idea for any boyfriend, husband, mate or family member who needs to control their body hair. Send them one of these things and they will not regret it. And stay tuned to the end of this episode to find out how you can do so. But anyway, here we go. I know I've said this a lot, but I literally have the number one lad in the game on today. He's played for the Japanese clubs Honda Heat and Toyota Shuttles. He's played for the Irish powerhouse side Leinster, but where he's really made his name is right here in Tasman, where he's represented the Marcos on 55 occasions, including captaining the side, and now he's coached the side to back-to-back premiership titles. He's also been the assistant coach of the Crusaders, winning plenty of championships down there. It is the GOAT lad, Andrew Goodman. Welcome, Goody. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Jimmy, mate. It's good to finally get the invite.
Yeah, mate. I've been I was waiting for you to go back to back before we got you on. So
I thought you might have just been struggling with a few people, mate. But, it's good to be on here.
No, looking forward to the story. As I said, you are the GOAT lad. But let's start with the recent title, back-to-back success. How good was that?
Yeah, mate, unbelievable. You could see in the box, obviously, a little bit of emotion there. I think I've got some good comments around that. It's been a good laugh watching that. But I think this showed how much it meant to not only us, but the players as well. And it was just real satisfying this year. You know, we've had a few up and down results during the year. Last year was a little bit different in the fact that stars just seemed to align for us. Last year there was guys like Liam and Geordie Telford that, you know, made themselves available when we probably weren't expecting to see them.
Yep.
We were real lucky with injuries right throughout the year, and we had a few fringe All Blacks that didn't make the World Cup squad. So, yeah, it's one of those years last year. But this year, early injuries to guys like Ethan and Puddy Puddy. Then along the way, more injuries to some key leaders like Jake Norris and Drewser and Nanki. And then, guys came in and took their opportunities, and just stoked for guys like Tim O'Malley, who's an absolute lad around the team, as you know. Yeah. And for him to come in after, unfortunately, Hunty went down, who's a massive part of our team, and to come on and steady the ship as he did.
Yeah.
He'll remember that for the rest of his life, and it's pretty cool, I reckon.
Were you always confident?
During that game?
Yeah.
And
even through the season, were you always feeling confident that you could do it?
Yeah, like we had some good discussions as a coaching group around. I think one thing we did do well is we learnt from all those losses. We had some good discussions up in the coaches' room and in the leadership group, and we thought if we could learn from those experiences, North Harbour, Canterbury, Auckland, but even some of the other games where we didn't really perform to our best, that we knew we had a couple of performances in us in the end, because, you know, we've got a great bunch of boys that, as you know, come in and try and get better every day, and they are passionate about the jersey. And
what have you done about that to create that culture? Because obviously the culture's changed so much from when me and you first started back in the day to what it is now.
Yeah, I definitely can't take all the credit for that. I think going back to when KK and Leon were first, coaching the group, and Leon was so like a great Crusader player, 50 Test All Black, and he was just so competitive, so professional, and it just took a while for him to get across what it actually took to be professional. We didn't have really many super players at that stage, probably 2 or 3. So to have more and more super players coming back into our environment, have a real core group of local guys that in our leadership group that really drive our standards, and the guys that are coming in from outside the region, they see how much the jersey means to those guys, and they just buy in because it's contagious when those guys are playing with so much passion, as the boys like to say.
And how massive is the skip in that sort of sense, David Havili?
Yeah, what a champion, eh? Absolutely. I've got so much time for Davey, and he's a big part of it, man. He's a massive part of the reason why we have won the last couple of years. One, because the boys respect him so much, what he does on the field, but off the field, he's so available to all of them. he makes time for everyone in the team. He really drives our standards, and I've got as I said, a lot of time for Skip and what he's done for this union.
And a couple of big days afterwards, celebrations. How are those?
Yeah, getting harder, but I do love it. I make sure throughout the season I'm building brownie points, knowing that there could potentially be a 3 or 4 day at the end of the year. So, to be fair, Nina was pretty good. It was more Max that was demanding me back on Tuesday after the 3 days, but I was ready to go then anyway. Couldn't keep up with the boys on Counter Hole Golf, but some of the days of your life. So I love that, just being able to sit down with the boys and reflect, have a beer, sing a song, and just connect with the boys and the coaching team.
And you've always been doing that on the successful side of things, eh? You've had a pretty successful start to your coaching career, winning pretty much everything you've been involved in, even down at the Crusaders. So, what do you put that down to? Is that just sort of a little bit of luck, or do you take that credit?
Definitely a lot of luck. Yeah, very fortunate to get the call from Razor 3 years ago and be involved in an amazing setup down there. Learnt so much, and very fortunate to be part of that setup, and hopefully bring a bit of that back to Tasman and help keep growing our union.
Did you win 3 have you won all 3 years down there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you
Lucky
count the hand of God? Yeah. Surely that one doesn't count.
That was before the Jackal rules changed. Surely it was clean, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a good game, mate. I was twitched up that game, mate. It was one of the most tense games I've been involved in a box. You boys played an outstanding game that day, and could have easily gone the other way, obviously.
Play on.
Yeah.
And then you're back down to the Crusaders soon. When do you have to go back down there?
No, it's not till after January. I had a day down there during the week to connect with the coaching group and strength and conditioning, etc. around the pre-season. So Razor's really good, trusting that we can chip away from our work at home, and we'll just connect over Zoom a couple of times and make sure we're on track for when the boys come in. But it's quite cool with all everything that's been pushed back, that the boys get a good break over Christmas. I know it's not a favourite time for the lads to be going back that 2 weeks before Christmas. So as a whole, everyone that's playing Super will enjoy the time with their family or partners over Christmas, where they can just spend a bit more time and chill. And
you're happy with the squad? Yeah,
I think it's pretty exciting. Got a core. Well, most of the boys are coming back, and some real exciting new talent coming through. Shafi Haki and Izzy Punavai, and the 2 tight head props, Tamaiti and Fletcher Newell, who are both beasts and are going to kick on and be awesome players.
Short price favourites to go again, or what do you reckon?
Oh, mate.
Who's the team to beat?
Some competition, Some competition, man. Like you saw it through last year's league. Anyone could have beaten anyone on their day. So it's going to be a tough comp again, and it's a bit of a sprint, because you've got to be right on. You're playing New Zealand teams every week from week 1. Yeah. So it's going to be a hell of a competition.
It's only 8 games too, So as soon as you drop a couple, it's pretty hard to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We found that last year. I think we dropped the first 2, and then it was pretty much couldn't catch you from then on.
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty excited about being a final this year, though. It's a good, cool addition to the tournament.
Yeah, needed to be, Yeah. But anyway, let's go back to the start for a young Andrew David Goodman. What was growing up for you like?
Yeah, no, it was good, mate. We obviously in Tapawera for the first 3 years of my life, which I don't really remember at all. But I do have fond memories of Roy Valley and growing up there. Dad was a teacher, and he was actually headmaster at Roy Valley Area School. So we had plenty of open space growing up, lots of paddocks to run around in. The farm over the road, where I was pretty proud of my calf Daisy that won back-to-back titles, I think, at the Roy Valley AMP show.
What do you mean, your calf?
Best groomed calf. You used to walk the calves around the AMP show. You had to go to after school and groom them down. It's a highlight of my career.
Did you raise that calf?
Yeah. Used to go over the road every day. We'd take it for a walk, give it a wee groom down with the old pet combs, and we were good mates growing up.
Your only friend.
Yeah. No, but we had, obviously the 3 boys and my sister Jane, and we were pretty competitive in the old backyard cricket there at Rye Valley, and we had the goalpost just down the road where we used to go down and have goal kicking competitions and tennis and wet golf balls around. So we were a pretty active family growing up and had lots of fun there till I was about 11 or 12 before we moved over to Nelson.
And you're the oldest, eh?
Nah, Nick, brother Nick.
Oh,
brother
look,
Nick.
the eldest.
Yeah, a few greys coming through, hence the hat every day of my life since I've been 18, since I started poking through. Yeah, cheese cutters, hats, buckets, whatever I can find, really, beanies. Yeah.
And then when did rugby start for you?
I was an early starter, yeah. I started when I was 4 for Pelorus Bow Jacks, a local club that I used to play for. So, yeah, used to be a little bit of travel over to Blenheim or Picton, but mum and dad were really supportive, and the old man, he's a rugby nut, so he used to love it. And mum used to be involved with the old Oranges and after match feeds, and after that it was with the Nelson Rugby Football Club after that, tap.
Yeah.
But no, it was good times, growing up, playing for Pelorus, and yes, and like Kahu and those boys come through Pelorus as well. Shane played for Pelorus when he was young.
Yeah.
James King, Corey Holdaway, some good Tasman names. Yeah.
Were you any good?
I think I probably went through phases. When I was young, by all accounts, I wasn't too bad when I was coming through those junior grades and under 10s and like under 52 tournaments, etc. I used to go all right. And then kind of when I went to school, I was quite a good size when I was younger. Then didn't have much of a growth spurt after that, and went to college and got a bit shy on the old defence side of things. Old Grievo probably ended up with 2 dislocated shoulders from number 7, having to make all my tackles. And Nathan Madden, who was 12 outside me, used to give me shit about having to close in all day to make my tackles as well. So, yeah, we kind of went through a phase there through college. But, I was a battler through college. I was in the first 15 for 2 years, but it wasn't a standout. I loved it. I think probably understood the game quite well tactically, which probably helped me out a little bit. Yeah. But in terms of physicality and stuff, I wasn't a dominant first 15 player.
But your old man would have driven a lot of your rugby standards. I remember he would always have his notebook, and any game or something, he'd always come and whisper up a wee tip. Even to me, when I started playing, he'd always tell me the wind conditions or something, a wee interesting fact to how to beat this side that we're about to play. So must have been cool to have him behind you in all the games. Yeah,
obviously a big part of my life growing up. He was coaching me through rugby and cricket all the way through. Cricket used to be crack up. He used to give me, because I used to captain our cricket team, and he used to have, not because he was coach, maybe because he used to give me the fields for each bowler, so I used to pull it out when Joe Tui was coming into bowl. Okay, he's a right arm seamer. He needs a mid-off cover point, backward point. Yeah. So I used to move all the boys around. Leg spinner coming on, Gareth Powdrill. He needs a deep square leg.
That's why he made you captain.
Yeah. So I used to have all these fields. But rugby, we used to have all the chats. So he loved talking code, and obviously so did I. It wasn't he wasn't a big talker, but we used to just chip away. We'd watch a game together and have the conversations, or driving home from a game, he'd just give me a couple of things. That he was supportive, but he was honest as well.
Yeah.
And he always encouraged the strong fitness base. We still a lot of running together. Started me doing half marathons when I was 9, I think.
True.
Holy. ran a few of those together, but I retired by I was 13, and my bloody hips and Achilles have been no good since. But the famous Central New Zealand runs he used to make us do 3 times up there, and used to be standing up there with his notebook and marking everyone off. All the boys trying to hide on the way up on the second time, but it was pretty onto it,
Yeah.
But no, it was cool to have him growing up, being a part of the rugby and cricket journey.
Yeah. And any first 15 memories that stand out for you?
Yeah, we actually we had a pretty good team. We played senior Bs back in those days, so we were playing. The next year the Press Cup started up, so we were on Saturdays. We were playing against all the old boys that just wanted to smash the college kids, which is probably why I was a little bit shy in the old D as well, having bloody all the big old boys or the older guys just wanting to get you at the bottom of the ruck and give you a smack, going over to Collingwood and getting a bit of a toweling up at the bottom of every ruck. But we made the top 8 that year in New Zealand, which was pretty good for our team that year. We had Crocky and a couple of guys that Ben May had been at school. I think he might have left by then, but we had a pretty strong team through our second year of first 15.
Yeah.
Greggy always reminds me that it probably cost us the top 4 position, but every year I get that from him, mate. He's relentless.
What'd you do?
I missed a couple of kicks on the front field, mate. we outscored Wellington College 2 tries to 1, but their first 5, Brett Morisi was an awesome player. Actually passed away at a young age, which is really sad, but he got 7 out of 7 penalties. we got a couple of tries, and I'd missed 1 or 2 kicks, maybe 3. I think we lost 21-19, but he didn't go at the guys that gave all the penalties away. We always get the goal kicking. No, it's good banter every year. At least comes up once a year, and I just got to take it on the chin.
Did you like goal kicking, or did that sort of put you off goal kicking?
No, I loved goal kicking. I think just as I said, in Rye Valley, me and my brothers used to go down and just kick for the fun of it. I used to love just love kicking a ball around.
Yeah.
Playing the old kick tennis or 21 or whatever it was over the posts, and then we moved to Nelson, and I was right across the road from Neil Park. So again, used to go over there for hours after school and just kick balls. And he was Dad was actually the one. He gave me the Grant Fox video. That was my learning for goal kicking. Head down, follow through. Had the old massive run up. It wasn't until I got over to Leinster when I was bloody 30 that had actually got some proper goal kicking coaches, and the guy was like, "That right up's horrible, mate. That's why you've got the big bloody thirst and draw on it. You need to just come back on the 45 and just kick straight through it." And it made a massive difference. I was like, man, I wish I'd had this like 12 years ago. Would have made a boot.
You had a massive nudge though, eh?
Yeah, I backed myself from. That's where it kind of came. Like I didn't mind having those big cracks because no one really cared if you missed them or not. So I used to not be afraid to tee them up from a long way out and have a crack.
Yeah. And then what was your pathway from college?
Well, I just went down to Otago University. So ever since I was 16, and the old man had shouted me down to the Mitre 10 Cup final in 1998. Ticket on the bankment. I was like, I'm coming back here. No, whatever it takes. It was an unreal day. Like,
what was that?
36,000 people. Like the embankment was just over full.
Holy.
People just chopping spates everywhere. No one moved. Like everyone was just standing and pissing on the bank. I was just like, this is mongrel, but it's awesome. Went back to the brothers' flat after the game, and there was some good scenes there for a young 16-year-old. And I was like, man, I'm getting back here. So as soon as I left there, I was like, I'm coming back to Otago. What should I do? And I was always passionate about physical education, so went down that path. And so I headed down to Otago Uni straight after school, and actually turned up to university trials because I didn't know anyone down there really. Turned up to university trials, and you kind of turn up. There's everyone there that's come down to university. Turns up to those trials, and only got like 15 minutes at the end, and then you walked into the uni, and they had the teams named up there, and there was looked at that. A team nut, B team nut, C team nut. I was like, oh, wow, shit, how do they like pick these teams, man? I got 15 minutes, didn't do much wrong, and I'm in the like 4th ranked uni team. I was like, this is not a great start.
Were you chasing the rugby dream then? Is that what you still wanted to do, try and play professional rugby?
No, it was never about professional rugby, but I thought I was competitive. I wanted to play like good rugby. And then it just happened to be I was down at the Alhambra Union Field, which is close to university, and they're having some kicks, and we'd played King's High School. We used to play them in inter-school every year, and a couple of their boys actually walked past and said, "Oh, hey, young, we played you last year. What are you doing for your club footy?" And well, I'm in the university 4th string Colts team. They're like, "Mate, come out to Southern." And mate, one of the best decisions of my uni career, because it was a great club. Ended up getting like 20 of us from my whole Cumberland to all come out to Southern that had kind of been in a similar thing, that had gone to uni trials and hadn't been that successful. So they used to pick us up in minivans every Tuesday, Thursday, barbecues after training. Yeah. But it was just an awesome club, great atmosphere down there. Had some great dues, back in the day. The drink at the club rooms till it's shut, till you got kicked out, and then you'd all go into town in your number ones. And it was good times. I loved it. Southern was a great club for anyone going down to Dunedin.
And then how did you get into the professional rugby side?
Yeah, well, so I didn't really make any... I had a real chip on the shoulder after that university thing. I was like, I went from being a little bit of a, as I said, not really aggressive in the tackle and stuff. I got a little bit aggressive. I don't think that was the only thing, but I grew a little bit. I had a bit of a growth spurt again. Moved back into, they put me at 12 when I got to Southern, so I had to be a bit more physical with that. But a combination of a lot of beer and poor diet, plus starting to do weight, so I actually put on like 12 or 13 kgs in that first year. So it gave me a bit more confidence, and didn't make any of the Otago 19 teams or anything like that, but my 3rd year down there I made the Otago development team. So I ended up having 3 years in that, which was awesome times. We had a pretty good team with Kenny Lynn and Cullen Bruce and Joe Sneed and Adam Thompson and Tom Dolan, those guys come through. in those days you just followed the NPC team around. So everywhere they played, we'd just play the Curtin Raisers. So I can imagine it all 23 students together. Some good times. Good nights out. And we were pretty... Yeah, so even then I was still just, loved playing just to be competitive. I still wasn't chasing the dream, hence the uni I was pretty serious about making sure I got my degree and stuff ticked away as well. But then, the Marco formed, so it was good timing. I finished in 2005, my last year at Teachers College, and then the Marco started in 2006 and happened to get a job at Nelson College back at the old school. Teach young Jimmy Marr, and so that just happened to coincide well, the timings, so moved back to Nelson, went back to Nelson Rugby Football Club, and got amongst it, and started really got into the kind of wider training group, and started thinking, shit, I'd love to have a good crack at this.
So that move was to get into the Tasman setup?
It was, I suppose it just coincided well, They gave me a ring to say, oh, what are you doing? Like no contract or anything. Just like, what are you doing after you finished uni? And I said, I've just got a job. I got the job first, so I was moving back home anyway.
Oh, true.
So they said, you'll jump in the training group and come to the gym with us, etc. So that was cool. I got into that when I came back up, and had a pretty good year with Nelson that year. We Gazza Stevens was coaching. He was a really good coach. Had a pretty good squad. So there was like 32 named. So I made the 32. Went and got the poster shot, happy as.
Was this the first year of the Marco?
First year of the Marco. So, and then we had a couple of pre-season games, and they said there was going to be 2 people. They were taking the squad down to 29 or 30. So there was still 3 that were going to get cut. And I still remember getting that phone call and being like, oh man, didn't pick it up the first time. I had a free period, had to ring back, and I think it was Bevan that rang at the time and said, sorry mate, you've missed out.
True.
Oh, I just remember, like, honestly, I was bawling my eyes out, because felt like I put so much into that. Just being that close, and then first year there was lots of excitement around first Marco team. Lucky enough that year to go on and play my debut in Wellington, and I couldn't have asked for a better man to mark than Tana and Mark in the midfield. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. But so I got a taste of it that year, and got a big palm off from Victor Vito, who was like first year out of school. So I remember turning up to school the next day, then Monday, because I'd only been on for the week for the training. Went up to play Wellington, got on for like 20 minutes. Tana and Ma, first tackle, a massive palm off. Like, there's one screw in the chest and like starfish on the ground. And then it wasn't required the next week, so I was back into PE first period, and I was just getting abused every class. I was like, man, these guys are ruthless.
Was this before your Victor's body double in the sevens?
Yeah, that was well before it. But it was crazy. The boys that as you can imagine, you would have been one of them. But just got my debut, so it was pretty cool coming into school, but all the boys were just abusing me. I was like, man, handed out a few detentions that day. It was good stuff.
That's cracker. But then the following year, you obviously did enough to make the squad?
Yeah, following year, got back, again, just trained hard. I think that's one thing that Dad did instill in me was you work hard enough, you'll get an opportunity. So, that was something I've always prided myself on, is my work ethic, and had a few, back in the day, the fitness test was always to run up the centre, so, used to go up there a lot, used to do a lot of running, started getting into the weights, a lot seriously, and I kept on building the body up and got to about 101, 102 kgs.
Big boy.
Yeah, and just, managed to get again into that team and got probably a handful of games that year, I think, 2007, and then just kicked on from there, and after that, started playing a little bit more consistently at that level. It takes a while to get used to it, when you've just come from club and you're playing that level. In 2008-09, kind of,
So what age were you around this time? You're a bit older, right? You weren't fast-tracked?
No, it wouldn't have. I think it was about 23, 24 till I really secured a spot in the Marco team. So.
And any highlights from your Tasman career?
Oh, there was lots, mate. There was an awesome time. I loved playing for Tasman, especially running out at home, whether it was at Lansdowne or Trafalgar Park, and family there and the old man up in the stand, and yeah, but some of the games you probably think about are both the Ranfurly Shield games we had. Only two we've ever had in the history. But we put some pretty good performances in those games. Like Wellington were a stacked team back in 2008.
Yeah.
You remember that game, eh?
Yeah.
And we went up there as the team that had been battling, and we put on a pretty good show. And we put that yellow card that Khan got, that was a rough call. You're always going to say rough call, one, but they ended up a couple of tries to Jose Aguirre, I think, at the end of the game to win that one. And then the Naki one, I just remember, because we knew we had that first challenge of that year, so that just fueled the off-season, man. We were like right in one, knowing that we were going to have a challenge. We knew we had a pretty good squad that year as well. And then bloody Bodie got released for one game. One game for that whole year, and he scored like 32 points, put on an absolute clinic. And again, so that was like 49-44. That was a hell of a footy game.
But you know, if he wasn't playing, you know who was on the bench. So.
I've seen you goal kick, mate. We'd have won by 30. No, that's another one. So that was that one. That was an awesome game, but one that I look back on, I was like, shit, man. Yeah, would have been awesome to come on the other side of that, and probably a couple of things as a captain you look back at, and as a goal kicker as well, you look back at and question, I wonder if that would have changed the game, kind of thing. But those were pretty cool experiences. And then 50th game was pretty cool. Getting the blazer was a special moment for the family. And
And what about that try? Go on.
Go on.
Surely that's a career highlight.
The best part of that try is again the old man in the stand when it pans up to him and the stand line is up on his feet, like massive smile on his face, clapping away. It was pretty cool just to see that. Mum was there with him as well. But that was cool. It took me about 20 games to get it. First try.
Was that your first try?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No, second actually. I got one the week before against Auckland, so that was my second try, but I was a long way through then.
Yeah.
What
do you remember about it? It was
fluke of a try.
So good.
Got a shady ball from who was playing halfback that day, probably Khan, ankles. Had a bit of line speed, so I got spooked, and then just happened to be a bit of blindside space, and I don't know how I scored it, to be honest.
You're quite fast though, eh? You were.
Deceptive, mate. Deceptive. Yeah.
Oh, how good. And then obviously the Marco, the future of the Marcos was in doubt. Save the Marco campaign. You were a massive leader of that. Not many people know this, but you went worldwide with your Save the Marco campaign, getting photos with all sorts of famous people on an end-of-year tour. Do you want to talk about your campaign?
Yeah, so that year, Craig Moore, Shane Booney Grieve and myself had saved up, we were flatting together at the time, we'd saved up a bit of money and we followed to follow the All Blacks around. So, it coincided with the time that they were going to cut 4 teams, which was, gutting after just getting started and feeling like we were making some progress. So there was the Save the Marco sign had been made up, which had been at the last few games, and so we took a few of those with us on a trip. Took about 300, I think. And we, so obviously at the test matches, etc., we made sure we were pretty well seen. We held them out to all the section. Of the first test, my older brother Nick had come and met us in Hong Kong as well. So we had about a section of 50 people all wearing All Blacks signs holding up the Save the Marco.
Oh, true.
Got Richie McCaw and I think it was Lottie DeCary and a few guys to hold them up after the game. I don't think Richie knew at the start. He was like... And then... I don't know how, but managed to get Steve Chu, who was one of the people probably trying to cut the Marco, just punked him and just got him on a photo and said, "Oh mate, hold this," and got Seymour and boys to take a photo. So this grew, mate. We had them everywhere. Had some pretty cool names behind the Save the Marco poster there, and I don't think that was the reason why they saved us. But
definitely worked, Steve Chu. You black
got him, boy, got him. But it was cool that what's happened now, just the pathway for our local kids, the excitement that you could see kids coming through the region now have a team playing in the top competition in New Zealand to strive for, and the pathway onto Super Rugby and All Blacks now, like we've seen with Dave Avillies and Quinn Strange, the most recent one, the boys that have come through the pathway and gone on to be All Blacks, which is amazing.
How good. And any other good stories from that trip? Did you get locked in at Croke Park?
Yeah, there's some good.
Go on.
There's some good yarns from that trip. Yeah. So Croke Park, All Blacks Island, amazing atmosphere. I think it was 85,000 or something at that game. Me and Seymour had got tickets off Ben Franks for that game, I think. And so we had some after-match tickets for us afterwards. Went up to the aftermatch, absolutely hammered. He would have been like, oh no, what did I give these guys aftermatch tickets for? Like I'm going up to O'Driscoll and getting, it wasn't selfies back then on the old Nokias, but Seymour was taking photos of the O'Driscoll. That came back to haunt me later in my career, but and then we got talking to this Irish guy who kind of weaseled his way in there as well. He's just in there like us, just trying to get as much free piss as we could down the hatch, and everyone kind of started filtering out, and we were like, let's just stay here as long as we can. And then kind of there was a petition, and it just got real like, we kind of looked around, there was only a few people and most of them were cleaners, and we were like, boys, let's get a couple of beers and just go behind this position and see what happens. So we took like 4 or 5 back there each, and we were so quiet, just like sipping away on these beers. Half an hour later we kind of like walked out, we'll have a look. No one there.
Bullshit.
No one. Like we were walking around the stadium going, hell, we're going to get out of this place, man. We started from like, this is pretty cool. Yeah. Stayed in there drinking the beers, and I think we got some top whiskey or something as well, and having a good crack at that. But then we were in the zone. We wanted to go down the middle of Dublin and get amongst it, but we couldn't get out of Croke Park. It was the pits. There was no cleaners around. Couldn't find a security guard. Man, we were like, man, this was cool at the start, but it's not good anymore. Ringing back everyone in New Zealand, like just trying to make ourselves bloody how we get out of here. But eventually we found a security guard who arced up at us, but like led us out, kicked us out, and we ended up making it down for middle of Dublin for a couple of hours, I think. But it was
how
good
long
times.
were you in there for?
Oh, it would have been 4 hours. We didn't get out till after midnight. Yeah, it wasn't good. It was good at the start, but as you say, like after a while, you just want to get amongst the atmosphere again. Just us 3 battlers in there having a beer. Yeah.
Anything for a free diesel.
Yeah, exactly. You know what it's like. We managed to sneak a few free diesels in our time.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to our Wellington 7 stays, and even our Hong Kong 7 stays. We had a few good trips up to Wellington especially.
Yeah. Team Tugger was a highlight, I think, the Tug of War team. Yeah. That Spates kit we got, this worked out well. We had a big 10-man rope, and then took another smaller 2v2 rope.
Yeah.
Didn't watch much sevens, to be fair, did we? Well, we had a lot of challenges for the old Tug of War. Been unbeaten.
And we used to ferry up, just in our kit.
Had the old
bum weekend.
Bum bag only with the toothbrush used to be the rule, didn't it? And pretty feral by the end of the weekend, but yeah, some amazing times. It's a shame that that kind of faded out.
Such a good weekend. Yeah. Remember Dan Hyatt got thrown into the water.
That was classic, eh? Wallet and everything in his bum bag, thrown it in the water. Oh, good stuff. I think he got a bit lippy after one of our wins, and some boys took exception to it and threw him in. That was good stuff.
And Kahu, he made the TV after that.
Mate,
Police 10-7.
That was one of the best highlights of my life, really, eh? Just sitting at home one night at the flat with Seymour and Booney, and we're like, that's Kahu, mate. Like,
in his Team Tugger kit.
Team Tugger kit, bum bang on, sloppy as walking around, face blurred out, clear as day Kahu, though. Anyone that knows Kahu knows it's him. And the commentary over it's like, it's clear this guy has not just been on alcohol. He's on some substance, but everyone that knows Kahu knows that's this was after a good night on the beers, and had so that night he ended up going into the A&E, was on the drip for a bit. And he turned back up at the flat that night. Remember, he had the drip hanging out of his arm still. He'd discharged himself and ran out of the hospital, and he had the little they must have had a towel over his forehead. He had the little towel from the hospital around his neck, and the IV line still hanging out his arm. It was so good. Oh,
geez, he must have chunked some diesel away.
Yeah, mate, it was classic.
And you also have the record for the worst dress at
the
Wellington Sevens too, eh?
Nah,
Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, it was a good idea at the time, I thought, the old Rubik's Cube, but it didn't really, no one really bought into it. Oh yeah, you win some, you lose some, I suppose.
What else did you do? You did
we had an Average Joe's, was a good one.
Joe's.
Yeah, there was actually, it worked out well because there was a dodgeball set up outside the stadium that year, so of course, we were in there all day.
And did you go? What year did you go up as Victor's body double, or did you just change your kit?
That was with you, wasn't it? One year, I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you still reckon you've got a body like him?
No.
Oh, good times. Oh, anyway, let's get back to the rugby. So, Tasman, you never got a super gig. Did you ever get close?
There was a couple of little opportunities. Like Toddy rang me up. I played a reasonable season in 2009.
Yeah.
For the Marco, probably one of my best years for Tasman. And then so he rang me up and had a wider training group opportunity for me, which I was stoked at. Like I was like, shit, yeah, here we go. Wider training group, get me down there. I'll work hard. It was a little bit different back then. It was more of going down as a bit of a training body. But I just thought, shit, I just want an opportunity.
Yeah.
Get me down there. But then like, a day later, this contract came through from Japan, and I was like, holy! Like the guy kept on talking about it in yen, and I was like, shit, that sounds like a lot of money. But I didn't have a phone or anything near me to computer to check what the conversion was, and I kind of got off the phone call afterwards, and I was like, converted it over. I was like, that can't be right. Like I was only back then at Tasman, the minimum was like 15, and I probably was third year, and I think I was only on like 22 or something. And this Japanese money was just ridiculous, I was like, that can't be right. I had to bring back the agent who'd rang me up. I was like, mate, what was the sum again? And he's like, yeah, no, that's after tax as well. Like that's what you'll get in the hand. And I was like, man, this is crazy, man. And I told Dad, and he was like, oh, that's awesome that they've noticed you, but you still got to go to the Crusaders. Like, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. And I was thinking, shit. And I was like in a real pickle for ages, just trying to decide because I had a big student loan.
Yeah.
I knew Crusaders, they had a stacked team. Although I wanted to go down there and prove myself, I wasn't too sure if I was going to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Rang up Toddy. Toddy was awesome about it. I actually flew up. I remember I've got a lot of time for Toddy. Flew up to Nelson and sat down, went up for lunch and went through all the pros and cons. And then he called me back the next day and said, mate, I've worked it. You can come down and still do your Japanese thing after. So come down, just get it over the line with your Japanese club that you missed their pre-season, and you can still come down. I was like, man, so appreciative of that. Thanks a lot, Toddy. Can still get all that yen.
Yeah.
Get a chance to go down to Crusaders. I was only going to go for a year because at the time because I didn't know with Tasman coming back and all not.
Yeah.
And then rang up the Japanese club and they're like, nah. we want to use you as a 10 as well, so you got to be over here to help organise our team. And I was like, man. So we took back through for a couple of weeks trying to decide what to do, and Dad was like still writing these massive notes saying, I think the Crusaders, son, get down there, prove yourself. And I'm like, shit, yeah, I know. But then Toddy came up and said, mate, give me a look at the contract. You've got to go. Yeah. Just go. Wider training group, we've got these guys, there's going to have to be all these injuries before you get an opportunity. So, I really appreciate Toddy for being honest around that. Yeah. Signed the Japanese thing. Dad gave me a bit of a frown, but he got around. He understood when I bought him a new TV and a fridge. He was stoked. And then, so it gave me an opportunity to pay the student loan off, get a big deposit down in the house, which has set me up now, I still look back and think, shit, what could have been? Because before I went to Japan, the Crusaders that year played their first game in Mott, pre-season game. Yeah. And actually, there'd been 2 injuries, quite bad ones, and right. Tom Taylor, who got called in when I didn't go in the wider training group, was starting that game, and I was like, man. I was thinking, you'd have those doubts about if you've made the right decision. So, but anyway, it didn't. Yeah, went over to Japan, enjoyed the year, and then Tasman got confirmed back into the comp, and signed it back up with Tasman.
How'd you find the lifestyle over in Japan?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Was it just you by yourself?
Nini came over. Nini came over, and we really enjoyed it. Like she'd studied a little bit at school, so she had a little bit of language behind her. But loved the food. I'm a big food man. Yeah. Got really into that.
Raw chicken.
Raw chicken. All into all that kind of stuff. And the boys were really cool. They were welcoming. A good bunch of boys. Enjoy a beer. Yeah. The old 2 hours a week you can drink and eat. I used to annoy me. Just get in the zone, want to go out and carry on, and they usually go, "Whoa, what? Gone?" You're like, "What?" Yeah. So
solo karaoke.
Yeah, solo karaoke. But we were in a bit of a little bit of country spot. It wasn't much going on, but it's life of the air. Just get on the bullet train. You're in Tokyo or Nagoya, and it was cool to travel around and experience a bit of a different culture.
And then back to Tasman.
Yeah, back to Tasman. 2011, we had a tough year that year. I think we were a wooden spoon. But kind of Leon came on that year. Leon and Kate, you could tell they were building something, and we had that same crew coming back the next year, and we actually had an awesome year in 2012. Really, that's when we started to really build. We were still a little bit inconsistent, but we beat some of the bigger teams, made it to the semis. Probably should have been in the final, but we got held up by Harbour, who were down the bottom of the table, just to show our inconsistency the week before. So we missed out on a home semi, and then we had to go down to Otago, and they put us down there. So, but that group majority stayed together the next year and ended up winning the championship, which was, although it was awesome to watch, it was also really hard. I was over in Ireland by then, and absolutely stoked for the boys, but kind of like homo hard, wishing I was back there. One, just because we'd kind of been building that, I knew the bender was going to be unreal. But just to see the boys, I was stoked. See Shano pick up that trophy was a pretty cool feeling. Pretty proud moment.
Talk to me about the Island call.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a random one, really. Had a not too bad year in 2012. And that's when I got a little bit more interest for Super. So JK had kind of rang me up. He was taking over the Blues, I think, that stage, and just asked if I was available. Didn't offer anything, was just checking around it. And then, a couple of days later, I got a call. I was rushing out to, I can't remember what school. I think it might have been Ngāti Moti or something out in the country. Yeah. Coverage was kind of breaking up. I was just getting on the borderline out there. It's like 1 or 2 bars. Had this call, and I was running a bit late, and I thought it might have been the headmaster out there wondering where I was. Yeah. So I kind of picked up. It was a random number. I couldn't kind of hear, and I was like, yeah, mate, I'll be there soon. And he was like, no. The guy was like, no, it's Joe Smith here. Joe Smith, I'm calling from Ireland. And I was like, oh, Joe, how are you? Ireland, shit. Yeah, so I kind of pulled over and was trying to look for some bars. I was like cruising up the side of the road at like 20 km an hour trying to find a place that had some good reception. And he was like, mate, I'm over here coaching and just wondering if you might be available to come over. And I was like, man, yeah, Leicester, I'd love Leicester. I'd love to come over and play for you. And it'd be awesome, like peaking, like out of nowhere, Yeah. And he was like, oh, no, Leinster. And I was, oh, yeah, no. I meant Leinster, yeah. Yeah, but no, it was a classic. It was a bit of a funny conversation. We laughed at it a few times when I got over there and saw Joe. But, yeah, forever grateful to Joe and Leinster for giving me an opportunity, because it was kind of that one thing after playing Mitre 10 that I just wanted to test myself at the next level. Yeah. I knew I never going to get to international or anything like that, but thought I could have been, it was worth maybe having a crack at Super, but didn't get that opportunity, and to go over to Ireland and play for such a club like Leinster and get to play in some big Heineken Cup games against Claremont, Mark Rougerie and Fafana, and play alongside O'Driscoll and Darcy and outside Sexton I was happy then. I was like, I've gone over, I've had a crack at that next level and proven to myself that I can do it, Yeah. So I was, as I said, forever grateful, and it was a great experience.
Was it a hard decision to leave?
Shit, no.
Nah, easy.
They would have been like, this is the easiest signing ever. I was pretty much like, didn't have a kind of real agent then, so I was like, send me the contract, I'll sign it. Like, they would have been like, shit, let's just lowball this guy hard, because they just sent it over. Didn't even read it, really. I just sent it back, like, got over there, I was asking, like, kind of got mates with a couple of other guys. I was like, mate, what kind of corner are you for? And they were like, oh, mate. And I was like, shit, I could have actually got a bit more if I'd had an agent maybe, but I didn't care, man. It was such a cool experience and such a great club to play for, and awesome. Again, Nina came over. We made some awesome friends and got to do some amazing travel. Yeah,
what were the lads like? What was O'Driscoll and Sexton like?
Oh, they were awesome guys. Like, as you can imagine, they were really professional. But the Island lads are great crackers, is what they called it over there. All good banter. It was a different level of banter, because Leinster was it's quite a private school game over there in Dublin. All the boys are really well educated, and they have good banter, real good banter in the changing room. But some of the banter was a bit above me. They started talking political banter and stuff. I was like, man, I was just sitting in the corner, real quiet. There was some. They were switched on dudes, but they were all real welcoming. I was probably actually a little bit shy. Like, I was going over there, I knew there was a lot of internationals. Yeah. like usually the foreign signings are like your Easton and Thawa, who was like a god over there, or they'd had Rocky Elsom, and I was just like a battler from Tasman coming over. I was like, man, I was going to put my head down here and work hard and just prove myself. Like I didn't want to go in there and be a big mouth that was just yapping away. And so I was probably, looking back at it, I was probably a little bit shy at the start and didn't really put myself out there, which is a little bit me, but just tried to work hard, and they were great. I made some good friends, and once you had a couple of nights on the old Guinness, the real goodie came out and
got
nude and made a fool of myself, and it was all gone from there. Actually, my first night, I played my debut against Ospreys, and we flew back from Wales. You fly back after the game, and all the international threw away at that stage, and so it was mostly academy boys. The club had given me like a cash. Forwarded me some cash for my bond. I was moving into my place a couple of days later. And I had like €700 in my wallet to pay this lady for my first week or whatever it was, or the bond. And we ended up going out for a night on the Lash and Dublin after my first game. Woke up the next morning, all gone. I was like, oh shit, what has gone on here? Like, I've had an absolute shock. I've either lost it all or I don't know what's happened. I got to training on Monday. The academy boys were like, oh, you're a good man. Like, shit, you were buying trays and trays of piss. I was like, oh, man. I had to go back up to the manager and say, mate, can I please have another loan? Because I need to pay that bond and I spent all my money out in the piss the other night. And he was like looking at me like, who have we signed here? I remember ringing out Nina and she was like, you're an idiot. And I was like, yeah. But they got on quite good with the academy boys after that.
Got in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crack up. And any games that stand out for you over there?
Oh, definitely the back-to-back against Clermont. Those two games. So the first one was at over in France. Just the atmosphere over there, like driving up to the game. They're crazy rugby over there, as you know, like chanting and singing. Like the whole crowd, it felt like, was outside the bus as we pulled out.
Yeah.
And they loved Leinster as well, so they were real good supporters of rugby.
Yeah.
But they were like going in there. It was only 21,000 people there, I think. So it was, even then, that was the biggest crowd I played against. But they were right on top of you.
Yeah.
I was the only non-international back in both teams. They had like Sidovini and then a full French like Morgan Parra and as I said, Rougerie and Fafana, and I can't remember who was at fullback. But we had like all the Irish boys. But luckily O'Driscoll was injured for me, so I got to jump in there with Das in the midfield. It's an amazing game, mate. Like, I was just like, holy shit, I've got a man up here. I've got a bloody, I remember thinking, Jesus, I'm not supposed to be here.
How'd you go?
Yeah, I went all right, actually. I quite liked Joe's way of playing. He was pretty structured, but if you just nailed your job, which for 12s over there was just cutting hard first phase.
Toe bar
or
up.
decoy for Darcy. So I was just, I just concentrated on my role. It went not too bad that game. And then the next return fixture was at Aviva. So again, 55,000 people this time in front of all the Irish fans. Like, it was just crazy, eh?
Yeah.
And then I suppose the other one was Munster down at Thomond Park. Like, had a good win down there, a real tight game. Mum and Dad were over for that one, and I was on the bench, but Das got injured in the first 5 minutes.
Oh, true.
So you're not really ready at the start of the game. Up on my
Yeah.
feet going, shit, doing the old high tuck jumps that I used to do. Running on there, like headless chock for the first 5 minutes, but I was settling into it, playing with O'Driscoll was awesome. He ended up scoring a try right on full time, I think, to win. And it was just an amazing atmosphere, eh? Just like the whole silence for the goal kickers and stuff was just something different, eh? Amazing football, rugby supporters over there. So, no, it was pretty cool to get the win there and to have Mum and Dad over there as well.
That's hissing. And then from Ireland, where'd you go to next? Did you go back to Japan or was it Tasman?
No, so I played that first game with first season with Leinster, and then the start of that next pre-season, Joe had left to coach Ireland, Matt O'Connor had come in, and yeah, I knew I only had one more year on my contract. I knew I had to have a big year to try, because it was a place I saw myself potentially staying for a few years, but just settled in and loved the club, loved the city. The boys were awesome. Travel was great around Europe. So we were really keen to settle down over there for a little bit. So I knew I needed a big season to impress Matt and get another contract. But I ruptured my Achilles like in pre-season. Had like a real bad tendonitis and ended up getting an injection, which wasn't the best thing. And the trainer actually said to me, mate, you need to get off like you've done your yards. And I was just like, I just want to do a couple more, ruptured it. And then so that was a disappointing way to finish over there. But I was still there the whole year with them. They credit to them, they looked after me so well, man. Paid me the whole time.
Yeah.
Where they could have cut it down a little bit, I think. They sent me over to Sweden to Achilles Guru to fix me up.
True.
Rehabbed me and then gave me time off during the year to travel. So me and Nene was full-time tourists, really, going to Italy and France and Croatia, and it was an awesome year. Apart from obviously not being able to contribute on the field, the amount of travel and stuff we got to do was pretty amazing. And then, I was flying back to New Zealand. I was just going to come back and play club footy for Nelson again and try and crack the Marco, which I knew would be a tough ask because they'd pushed on since I left, and there were some good players there. Tojo and a few of the Kafoni and that were playing really good footy. Yeah. And then I got a phone call when I landed in, I think we'd gone through LA or something, so we were in transition, and an agent rang me up. Coach rang me up from Japan and said, "Are you keen to come over to Japan again?" Same coach that I had at Honda, but a different club. So it's like, mate, I've got nothing guaranteed, so get me over there. So I flew to Nelson, and then the next day I had to get back on a plane and fly to Japan because they were real sketchy about my Achilles. They were no, bad injury. So I had to go over there and run they were doing fitness testing 2 days later, the whole team. So I had to go over and do that with them. I think I got second or something, so beat test under pressure. I was like, I'm just going to empty the tank here. This is for yen, mate. I'm just going to empty it here. Empty the tank. So I went hard. Got through that. They'd done some really one-on-one skill testing and stuff with me, punting and goal kicking and passing and stuff, which was really pretty random. But
nailed it.
Managed to get there. I think I had a kick from in front. It's good enough for them. So the new run-up obviously helped me. And then got a contract there. And unfortunately, after about 5 games, just before my 6th game, medical, you get to 6 games, we'll give you this extra money.
Oh, true.
Done the old ACL. Not that it was all about the money over there. It was somewhere cool. Like we moved in, the little place that we moved was just outside Nagoya, and it was, again, pretty cool. Cool bunch of foreigners there. That, again, somewhere I thought me and he were like, well, we could stay here for a couple of years, finish off. But then, ACL, 5 games in was disappointing. I was like, man, from someone that had no injuries right throughout, and then to double bang Achilles, ACL, recovered, and then I rehab, came back, still going to play for the Marco next year, came back to Nelson. KK was like, you can't come back after a Achilles and an ACL, but I was like, that made me train even harder. Yeah. Trained with Glenn, got me in real good nick, gave me an opportunity in the pre-season, and then first came back, first minute, dislocated and broke my finger real badly. It rolled me up for most of that season, so ended up playing a couple of games off the bench at the end of that season, but that was it. Right, professionally for me. Rang kind of at the end of that season, was like, you want to come into coaching? I was like, man, I was going to have a crack at making this team again next year. I was like, nah, mate. So I took the hint, and again, really grateful for that opportunity, because it's led on to some pretty cool opportunities for myself. And
so was that always the plan for you to coach, get into coaching?
I kind of always, again, just through Dad said coaching could be something you could do afterwards, so just make sure you take notes and be aware of what's going on around you. And even that second year I was injured at Leinster, he was real good around, go to the trainings, watch how they're doing things, go and watch the forwards, see what they're doing, go to make sure you're on all meetings and taking notes and stuff. So that was good advice from him. And I had that teaching background anyway, and I was doing a lot of coaching right throughout when I started teaching first 15 and age group rep stuff. So it was something I was keen to get into, but I didn't know it was going to happen kind of that fast and be a career option for me. Yeah.
So this was the following year you were straight in the Tasman setup?
Yeah, so I got the opportunity through that Tasman setup, and they kind of said, it went through the interview process, which was a bit daunting, but at the end they said, you've got the job, and I said, cool, that's awesome, thanks a lot, but I want to play one more year for Nelson Club. Oh, yeah. And they were like, man, it's probably not a great look if you're playing for Nelson and coaching guys during the week, and part of your role was to go around the clubs as well. I was like, man, I want to get my blazer for Nelson. I'm like 10 games away from 100. Yeah. So it took a bit of convincing. And looking back, it probably was a thing that the clubs probably wasn't great, but I was just going around doing skill stuff. It wasn't like I was going in there and getting their structures and stuff on the Thursday night. It was pretty crack up, like marking Nanky and stuff on a Saturday after you're training with them on a Wednesday. There's a bit of banter going on there. But no, I really enjoyed that final Euro, like just playing for fun. playing with a lot of guys that were coming through, like Davey and Quinn and
Yeah.
Ethan and those guys. It was an awesome year, man.
And drop goal to win a game.
Yeah, we won the Tasman Trophy, which was cool, and it was just a good way for me to get the 100-game blazer, and yeah.
And how have you
That's cool.
found coaching?
Yeah, I've loved it, man. Like, it's so good. I love the game, and it's been some transition. It's a lot of hours, a lot of long days away from the family, but you wouldn't have it any other way, also really lucky at the other side of it. You get to have this time now, like extended break, to spend with the boys and Nina and the wider family and friends. So it was at the start, it was like going back into coaching Tasman, and a few of their mates are still playing. You're wondering how this is going to go, but again, I've just tried to, whenever I've gone into summer, I've just tried to work really hard and earn respect that way. Be vulnerable and pretend like you don't know everything, ask questions. And I think I'm a coach that, tries to use those guys around me, because I know there's so much knowledge, especially going to the Crusaders. I was like, wow. Yeah. First time I head down there, I was like, oh, man, should I be here? Like Kieran Reid and Whitelock and Crotty and Richie, and I'm just like, far out. Remember that we had all the All Blacks had come back in, so Razor was meeting them to introduce the new coaches and just a few things we're going to do for the year, and I was like, had to get up and introduce myself. I was packing myself, man. And the first few times I got up in front of the team, man, I was nervous as anything, but I think it probably took just Rita to come up and say, man, it was good, real clear, key things we need to nail, and I kind of got real confidence from something like that. Yeah. And just, again, just tried to work hard, get alongside the boys, have conversations with them, get to know them as people as well, and you realise that everyone just wants to get better, and there's no real egos in the Crusaders or at Tasman, so it's just pretty collaborative coaching approach I like to use.
Whatever you're doing, it seems to be working, horse. Well, what's the plans going forward? Have you got much of a plan?
I've got a plan for the next couple of years. So I've got another year with the Crusaders, and then I'll do one more year with the Tasman. Like, this was kind of, we were thinking, Nina was like, you can't keep doing both forever. But I just love coming back here. I love coming back to Tasman. Such a great bunch of boys, and just think with a couple of with Dermo leaving this year after being awesome for us. Man, he's done a great job with our forwards, and Shane doing his Highlanders job now and potentially going to be his last year. I thought it would just be cool to have one more year and hopefully get another job done next year. Come back, and we've got a good squad coming back again next year, and it's exciting that there's a couple of awesome signings I'm looking forward to seeing go, like Jimmy the Jet, the difference, Jim Beam, he's got so many nicknames now, the career render. There's guys like Max Hicks that are who was with us most of the year this year. He's going to be a good player. He played well for Marist. He's hopefully he's got a lot from this year, and he'll go away and have an awesome off season and come back and be a Marco for a long time. So there's some good young players coming through. Izzy Salmarki's coming back, and Mac is bringing from Waimea. Those boys that are coming through first year, next year, they're not going to be Marco next year, those young boys, but there's some awesome local talent coming through that I'm excited to see in the years to come. Yeah.
How good. What a career and what a journey. But as always, we've gone to our Instagram for some questions.
Better have a sip of this fortune favourite before I get into these.
You better finish it. You got that many questions. First question. This is a good one. If he could give just 3 pieces of advice on building a winning team, what would they be?
Man, that's deep, man.
It is. Go on. You're expecting those questions.
3 things.
3.
It's all about the people's number one. You've got to get to know the people. You've got to connect the group. One thing I've really learnt from Razor and the Crusaders group is you've got to make sure that everyone can be themselves in your environment. Yeah. You don't want clones. You want everyone to be comfortable in their own skin, not coming in and being themselves. Yeah. And I think the enjoyment, making the environment as enjoyable as possible. I think that's what we do really well here at Tasman. The boys love coming into work every day. We don't call it work, but bit of banter with Bruce, a bit of fun, Don't make it repetitive, and you've got to keep the boys engaged, yeah.
That question was from me. No, it wasn't. Okay, how stiff should a fins up be crossing the chalk?
It's got to be stiff, mate. I've seen Nina's been actually in the crowd a couple of times, like pretty passionate fin she's been putting up. It's been a bit loose though.
Dwayne's was quite stiff.
Yeah, I like Dwayne's. He done a good job, mate. I was proud to see him do that.
Yeah.
No, you've got to be. It's got to be a proud. Like this, the Marco Struck's fucking strong. He's got a strong fin, so I think pretty stiff.
Pretty stiff. When Hunt went off in the final, did you consider putting the jersey back on?
No. I had faith that we had two good men out there that could do the job. There was obviously Dave, who's really comfortable at 10, and our man Bruce, who's been around 3 or 4 years in the team now. He's only had limited opportunities in that 10 jersey, but stoked for him to come on, and as I said at the start, to the work that Dave's done, the extra responsibility he took, and they both done an awesome job at controlling the game after Hunty went off.
If you went on, do you reckon you still would have won the final?
No, my Hemi would have gone after a minute at that speed of that game. Yeah.
What happens if your body held up?
Mate, would have been up, mate. Of course. Would have been a strong fin up as well.
Is it true you have the smallest calf muscles in the team?
Cornies are pretty small, come on. There hasn't been a lot of leg weights, to be fair. I'll give them that one. When I go to the gym these days, it's either... I do a lot of bench still, but not much calf raises. So I've taken that feedback on board. There's been a lot more leg work over the last few weeks.
Get on the razors.
Yeah.
Okay, most expensive tab you've ever had to pay. That was probably Leinster one.
Yeah, Leinster one, but there's one at Wellington Sevens one year when we had a fake tab going. You were there. We put it on room 365, I think it was, and got away with it for about 4 hours before they found out. But we managed to do a run from that one. Sorry for that behaviour, whoever that was, but hopefully the hotel took that one in the room, didn't have to pay it off.
That's right. Yeah. It was loose.
There was a full steak meal on that one, I think, each as well.
Oh, good stuff. How many hamstring sleeves and protectors have you owned in your life?
Oh, they were pretty loyal, those two I had. They lasted most of my career. Man, I used to get a bit of stick for those. The old thick sleeves. They were good though, mate. Bit of deep heat under those. Good old warm up. They were like as thick as wetsuits. They used to be a dirty old sweat underneath them after the game, but they done the job.
Did you have heaps of hammy issues, or what?
Just the end after the fashion. Just the end of the career after I'd done the ACL, the hemi on that left side especially got real weak, and then must have overcompensated on the right one a couple of times. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Okay. In your professional opinion, do you think Will Jordan is better than Michael Jordan?
Yes. No, he's a good player, Will. How good was that Michael Jordan documentary, though? But yeah, Will's he's a special kid, man. He's going to have a massive future. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that 15 minutes we saw in that last test match.
Yeah, you should do a doco on Will. Okay, favourite win when you were at the Marcos?
Favourite win? Oh, it would have had to been our first win over Auckland. I think it was 2008, Trafalgar Park, 12-8. Yeah, it was a good day. First time we'd beaten Auckland, and to do it at home, and it was a hissing crowd that day, afternoon footy. That was pretty special.
Yeah, good call. Who's the number one ranked golfer in the Goodman family?
Chris has been playing every day. He's a cheat. Actually, it's tied. We've got since the old man passed away, we play for his green CD President's jacket every year. So Kahu's a part of that, and he's actually the current holder.
Kahu.
So we're one apiece over 4 years. So the next time we play is going to be big. COVID's put a bit of a stop to it this year. So we're waiting for Nick to come back from career, and we'll have the decider, and that will tell the story.
How good. Would you consider naming your third son Bruce?
Definitely, mate. It's already been in the conversation for the second one, so definitely Bruce is going to he'll be right up there, mate.
Most difficult player to coach?
Oh, mate, who's that? That's a stitch up. The most difficult player to coach, it's got to be Shane Christie, and that was when I was kind of player coaching at Nelson Rugby Football Club again. He was a nightmare. Young Shane Christie, the people that remember him, the turnaround that he's made now to how professional, etc. he got. But a young Shane Christie was a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay, who's the player you've witnessed improve the most while coaching them?
Hiwaru. What a year he had, eh?
Oh, big year.
No, it was a pretty cool story this year, eh? Considering, he probably didn't have the best club season by all accounts, watching that, and had a bit of issues with the weight, but he worked really hard towards the end of that club season with Jimmy Holden and mate to play. I think he got the most minutes for us this year and was awesome, eh? Played some good footy, so I was stoked for T.
Good answer. What's the best thing that happened to you in 2019?
Oh, is that from Nina? You got me there. Yeah, I better say the Marco unbeaten season. Definitely the birth of my second son, Quinn Goodman. That nearly got me though. But when you gave it away actually, when you said Nina asked a few questions.
Sure, I shouldn't have said that. Is that a running joke? Did you,
yeah.
You said a few times. It was
I've messed up that one a couple of times.
Okay. Is it true you can pick up a tennis ball with your toes?
Yes. I've got incredibly long toes. It's hence why I don't get seen in general too much. Only around people I'm comfortable around. They're pretty freaky, these things. But, I can bowl a leg spinner. Haven't quite mastered the googler yet, but working on it.
What else can your toes do?
They're pretty good, like piano. Can draw a pretty good stick figure. No. Pretty handy.
Eat your dinner.
Yeah.
Has everyone in your family got long toes?
Yeah, the Moriarty side, so mum's side, there's some pretty long toes on that side of the family.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. With such a time-consuming role, how do you balance work life with a young family?
Yeah, it's tough, eh? I struggle with it, to be fair. I haven't quite got that right yet. And it's tough with Max, who's 3.5 now. He starts to notice it a little bit more when you're going to be home from work and struggles to see you leaving. So it's something I've got to work on and make sure that when I come home, I just don't get the laptop out straight away. It's so easy to think about something on the drive home.
Yeah.
You want to sort it out straight away, have a look at it. Or, so get some time in with them, make sure you spend time to kick the ball around or read a book or you get them to bed,
Yeah. Nini got him again.
Oh. Stitch up. She's going to hold me accountable to this.
Okay. Do you credit any of your coaching prowess to the fellow godfather, Peter Grigg?
Oh, of course, mate. He was an early mentor to me. He taught me all about team bonding and getting the boys together for a beer. No, he was good. I love Griggy. He was pretty cool through school as a coach.
Yeah.
Again, he just made the boys feel comfortable. We had a good time with the lads. He was approachable and he's a good mate, Griggy. So definitely loved his pre-game speech. Just one of the greats.
Yeah.
One of the greats.
You carried that on.
Yeah.
When you were named the head of the Drink Smart, Act Smart campaign, how did that go down?
Yeah. Apart from the photo shoot where I actually dressed smart, I had a shave, had nice shoes and pants and a nice polo on. It didn't go too well, to be fair. It was not great timing. It was World Cup in New Zealand. We'd finished the season. It was good times. In Nelson, 2 World Cup games, I wasn't dressing smart and I wasn't acting smart. So I got copped a bit of heat from, 1, the police, and 2, the union for a couple of nights out there where I probably wasn't, dressing or acting smart.
Dressing nude smart.
Mate, we went it was Quade Cooper that one time. We were
that's right.
Absolute do. We were in all sorts. And another time I think we ended up down the main street doing the nude Richard Hadley's. It's quite often happened after a night out.
Oh, and tell the story about when you was it your auntie and uncle?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, that was just after a court session at the club rooms, and for some reason I had to do a nude bike around the block.
Oh, was that a punishment in the court session?
In the court session. Came out of the court session. I was just by myself. It was random. On a bike, nude, biking around. Had a light stop. I think I went right down to the lights at Trafalgar Park. Or there was an intersection where a car was stopped, so I stopped. And kind of at the back of the car, my 12-year-old cousin kind of just saw the shock in her face to see her cousin nude on the bike, and then my auntie and uncle just looking around and being like, and I just biked off and said sorry and just kept on going, head down, kind of one of those instant sober up moments where you know this isn't good. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Okay. Most memorable moment in the Tap Tap jersey?
Most memorable, mate. I loved club footy. I used to think it was like test match footy, man. I used to be right in one every morning on a game. But I used to love the Noel Barton games, and I used to love the Nelson Maris games when Maris had a really strong team.
Yeah.
Waimea really strong. Used to go along. They used to be awesome games, good banter. But you'd always have a good night with them out. It was like some of your best mates, but on the field it was like brutal way.
Yeah.
Used to love those, Nelson Maris and the Waimea games for the Noel Barton, because Noel Barton was my godfather, so it was always a big one for the family.
Yeah.
John was writing me for those games.
Notes galore.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you break your nose?
Well, it's happened a few times, but the worst one was my old mate Shane Grieve at Broads. Wasn't much of a cricketer, so he wasn't much of a cricketer, so I give him a little bit of leeway. But we've gone up to the ball machine. I'm playing senior cricket at this stage. Asked him to come up and throw a few balls down for me in the ball machine. I've just got in there. I've put my brand new Gunnermore glove on. Haven't faced the ball yet, and he's put a ball in to see where it's going to land, just to kind of warm up ball. And the idiot's got it like right up, and he's called my name as he's put this ball in, knowing that it's going to likely hit me to give me a warning. And I've looked up, and it's hit me square in the nose on the full 115 or 120 clicks. Like, this dropped me. The doctor said I was lucky it hit me square on the nose, or it could have been a different story, in the eye or on the side of the head, or So the old Booney was just in shot like that. He rang Mum. Mum came up. Just followed the trail of blood up to the hospital, because the hospital's right next door. It was not good. And the worst thing is I had uni starting the next week, so I went down there looking like Elephant Man. Single boy with big hopes of first week of O week at uni. He had no chance, mate. No chance.
Oh, classic. Okay, last question. How can you be selected in an Andrew Goodman coached side? This is from a player.
I like guys that work hard.
Yeah.
Just put the team first. All those little things, like an Ethan Blackadder that does all the little things that probably go unnoticed by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Diving on those hard balls, chasing kicks, stuff we really pride ourselves on it around our Marco work rate. We call it at Tasman, or. Yeah, we talk about it down the Crusaders around caring as well. So just those little acts, if I see those, good attitude, someone that's willing to put the team first, those are a couple of key things.
Good answer. Yeah. Oh, what a story, what a journey, and some bloody good yarns in there. Really appreciate you coming on the Waterlad podcast, Goody. You've obviously been a massive part of my career. You helped me out massively coming out of school and getting me to where I got to, and it's been awesome watching your journey, awesome reflecting on your journey, and it's awesome seeing you do so well in the coaching scene at the moment. And really looking forward to following your journey, hopefully following right behind you on your journey. And looking forward to what's ahead. But yeah, really appreciate you coming on the Waterloo podcast.
Cheers, Jimmy. Appreciate it. It's been great to chat, mate. Awesome.
Thanks, mate. Real quick, with Christmas just around the corner, here's your chance to purchase one of the 3 great products mentioned at the start. Firstly, Pure Sport CBD. This is a game changer. For sleep, muscle soreness, anxiety, you name it, can help with almost anything and would be a great gift for almost anyone. So to purchase, go to puresportcbd.com. At the checkout, put in WaterLad20 in the promo code for 20% off. Also, Manscaped is another great gift idea for anyone who likes or needs to keep their body hair maintained. There's some real great discounts on the website already, and you can get an extra 20% off that price by entering Waterlad in capitals in the promo code, and this also includes free shipping. Last but not least, Fortune Favours Beer is another great gift idea for anyone who enjoys a craft beer. Send them 24 of Fortune Favours' finest, by going to fortunefavours.beer and entering What a Lad, no spaces in the promo code for 20% off.